What up, guys? Chillin', dude. I uh I wanted to make a video and talk about more in depth about a video that I made over on my fake Grizzly Cat account because it's really a weird situation and there's a lot of different things going on and mysteries and weird shit that's happened. So, if you don't know, we'll kind of break it up and break it down and go into what the fuck happened. And so there was a flight, a Boeing 777, that was leaving Malaysia and traveling to China. And this happened in 2014, I think. Shakira's here, by the way. She decided to join us today. Isn't that nice? Cool. But so there's this flight, right? And it was like a regular commercial flight, and it was coming from, like I said, Malaysia, and it was traveling to China. But they started to go on their flight path, and they were heading to their destination, and communications got cut off.
Information emerges about missing flight MH370. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has confirmed the plane's communications were disabled just before it reached the east coast of the Malaysian peninsula. He says it's consistent with deliberate action by someone on board, but is reluctant to confirm a hijacking without further investigation.
But shortly after that, the plane disappeared. They have never found any of the wreckage or any of the parts. There's been different claims that they found like different pieces of wreckage and stuff, but then there's other videos and people talking about how it wasn't even in the right area where it would have landed and stuff. They've never found anything conclusive about anything, any evidence of anything where there should be a lot of evidence. And it kind of it's very weird. Um, so it's been a mystery, like I said, for the last while since it happened. A lot of people were confused. They didn't know what the fuck happened, and they haven't really been able to come back with any hard evidence of anything. Except for now, there's been some strange videos that have come out, and different things that have been leaked, and it's a weird thing too. I'll get into like some of the footage and show what they're claiming to be as actual evidence of what the fuck happened, and it's really weird. But also, it's kind of important to note on that flight, like I said, they were going to China, and there was a lot of people. There was a big mix of different cultures and people from different places, but there was a lot of Chinese people on that flight. A lot of like three generations of Chinese people, like Chinese families and stuff. And some of them were like calligraphers and like artists, and some of them were even like ex vice presidents of ex coal and energy companies, like a really big energy company out of China and stuff. So it's kind of weird. And then on top of that, too, there was actually two people that Okay, there was one person that got on the flight with a forged passport, and there was two people that got on the flight with stolen passports, claiming to be the people on the passports. Those people who they were claiming to be never actually got on the flight, but the people that stole the passports and got on the flight were Iranians. Two males. One was like in his 30s, I think the other one was like 18. So that's weird. So, like I said, this information got leaked to, I don't know if it was directly to this guy that we're going to talk about, but he's kind of been at the forefront of all of this disclosure for what he's claiming and what it actually seems like what is actually happening. His name is Ashton Forbes, and he's done a deep dive on a lot of this stuff and kind of brought it all to the surface. And so they have this wide array, wide area surveillance type of system, and it's called a Gorgon Stare. And it's actually kind of weird because like they've used it for a lot of different things like surveillance, like military surveillance and all this type of stuff. Um, and just even the name, like they got Gorgon Stare from like old mythological type of shit, like Medusa would stare at people or whatever, and turn them into stone and have this like whatever, this weird thing. That's what it's talking about. That's where they got the name for this surveillance system that they use.
Sierra Nevada Corporation's Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Division developed Gorgon Stare in response to an urgent Department of Defense need for a real-time surveillance system. Wide Area Airborne Persistent Surveillance, or WAPS, is the ability to continually observe a large area from an airborne platform. Capable of watching a city-sized area 24 hours a day for an unlimited amount of time, the system's electro-optical and infrared sensors capture all activity without interruption in the field of view both day and night. An Air Force MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted aircraft equipped with the Gorgon Stare system observes a potential threat, revealing its story, its secrets, its intent.
Okay, so as you can see there, it's basically like a drone that does like an aerial surveillance and kind of circles the area, and it's able to capture all of this footage and give like really detailed analysis of surveillance. So this video came out, and it's been, I mean, it was leaked from this guy who claims to be from the military, from the Air Force, I'm pretty sure specifically, but a lot of the stuff that confirms it anyway. I mean, and there's people that try to debunk the video and say visual effects can do this and you can do that, but they haven't actually been able to recreate it in any way. And it's like, it. I mean, sure, until the government comes out and specifically says, yes, this was us, and yes, this was that, and yeah, we did it. Sure, it's all conspiracy and it's all up in the air, but I guess you make up your mind, okay? But there's a lot of evidence that supports that it is Gorgon Stare.
The authenticity of our proof says that every frame is normal 20 FPS on exactly 1 frame per second. The digits update. All other frames show perfectly merged digits. Tick happens on every 38-second boundary, not when the mouse moves on the leaked desktop capture. The bottom line proof is 1 hertz coordinate refresh is the MISB 0601 compliance rate only used on US NATO military. Commercial doesn't even use that, when I double checked at least. So this shows this is military exploitation software. Therefore, this is a cadence fingerprint. Fingerprint meaning it can only be this thing that shows this is the signature that is legitimately real-time data being transmitted through this system, through the satellite as we see, to the ground-based computers.
Let's get into the actual video of what was leaked. There's one regular video, and then there's a thermal video that we can look at too. Okay, so, I mean, you see it coming in, and look at this. So 3 orbs. Well, you can see 1 orb right now. There's another orb. And there's another orb. And they start circling around and doing this really weird pattern all around this plane. And they keep going. Just doing this weird formation. And then, boop. It's gone. The whole plane is gone. And here's the thermal video too. Look at this. So you can see 1 orb, another orb, and another orb, and they all have heat signatures on them. Very weird. Very strange. All doing this weird pattern. Going. And then, boop. Gone. Very strange, right? Very fucking bizarre, dude. So, like I said, that guy, Ashton Forbes, he's been doing a lot of this, championing this whole disclosure of what actually happened to this flight, which has been a mystery ever since it happened. And he goes into it pretty deep too. And I mean, there's videos of him explaining exactly how it works and stuff.
Black hole, wormhole, whatever you want to call it. Turns out it all means the same thing. But what it means there is that they are actually changing the physical properties of not the plane, but the space-time around the plane. Change the physical properties of the space-time around the plane through this extremely powerful electromagnetic interaction in the region around the plane. And what this does is it changes the refractive index. And in the Einstein's equations, this is exactly what we need for negative energy. Flips the refractive index, boom, you've just created negative energy. The atom, its ground state, remember we're sitting on top of this ocean of energy, it goes like this. So what this is we're gaining this amount of energy, but it's negative energy because it's going down. So the ground state drops. So you can imagine this conceptually as the space-time shrinking down. The space-time is actually shrinking down. And it may be shrinking down here to a point where it's going to pop out somewhere else. I even brought a prop here for us. So the space-time shrinks down. This plane just goes, and then somewhere else, the reason why my name is Ashton 4 Orbs, or at least that's my brand, is because there's a fourth orb somewhere else where poof, the plane comes out.
Say what you will about Stephen Greer, whistleblowers and different people that have worked in different areas of the government and stuff are kind of validating some of the things that he has been hinting at for decades. I know he's kind of made some weird claims about certain things and talked about stuff that has not become true, but he does kind of end up getting validated with a lot of the stuff that he says as well. And it's kind of interesting because he'll in this video this guy was talking about him or talking to him about this situation. Let's just see what
circulating and getting so much attention and so much debate, and it's allegedly of the MH370 commercial airplane that had disappeared. And I'll put the footage up, but you can see these three orbs circling it, and then there's this pop of light, and it dematerializes. So there's so much debunking of the video, and then there's debunking of the debunkers, and I don't know what to make of this. There's this guy Ashton Forbes who's been championing this, and I've reached out to him, never heard back. So whatever. But the question is this real, and is this the kind of man-made technology that would be used in a false flag attack and blamed on extraterrestrials?
The first question, is it real? I don't know. I don't have the provenance for it. The second question is yes, because that capability, I think it's an Einstein-Rosen bridge is what they're doing, if you want to look that up. And we have a scientist on our team who's worked at a very senior NSA and corporate level who has said it is real, and it was an Einstein-Rosen bridge, and it was man-made, and it was a test. Now, I don't know if that...
Okay. So, what he's saying here, and he's not even technically saying that the video footage himself, he's not saying that he's declaring that the footage is real, but he is making a statement that he has heard, and he, from his sources and everything and what he thinks, is that what they were doing is an Einstein-Rosen bridge type of experiment.
An Einstein-Rosen bridge, commonly known as a wormhole, is a theoretical structure that connects two separate points in spacetime. This concept was first proposed by Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen in 1935 as a solution to the equations of general relativity.
So that's what he's talking about when he says that. They also did there's this letter to Ashton Forbes.
I write this because I want the world to know that most of the trouble on Earth are created for political reasons. United States, or at least a covert administrative elite of the U.S., has, at will, complete control, and this has been true since the 60s. Flight MH370 arrived at our base, by our hand, at 1856 UTC after we picked it up, mid-air, outside the island of Great Nicobar. Just one of many, many things we do. We can pick up anything, anywhere, and deliver it in an instant.
In that letter to Ashton Forbes, they were saying it got transported to a military base. That whole plane. So, that's pretty crazy. And it's just kind of weird, the whole thing. And it's very strange that, I mean, even the passengers on that plane and stuff, even that they haven't found any wreckage. It's been a mystery. Nobody has really known what the fuck happened. And now this video evidence is coming out, and it's pretty obvious that it's Gorgon Stare, military use. So why are they even watching this and surveilling this plane and all of this happening anyway? Because if it was a test, if it was some weird experiment, obviously they would want to surveil it and have footage of what the fuck happened. And it would seem like that's what happened. Who knows what happened to the passengers, or if those passengers kind of had something to do with it. It's very weird that the passports were stolen and used by a couple of Iranians, and a lot of the people were Chinese descendants and three-generation Chinese families that were going back to China from Malaysia. It's all, it's very weird. It's a strange situation, and there's some tomfoolery going on, no matter what. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to break that down and give a more detailed synopsis of what the fuck. So, yeah, cool. Sleep tight, guys. Bye.